Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in today. I want to talk about one of the most intimidating winter weather events out there, the polar vortex. Whenever that phrase pops up, it can feel downright apocalyptic. For some people, it's just another bout of cold weather, but for others, especially folks who live in regions that typically have milder winters, it can be a real shock. You might have heard about places like Chicago getting blasted in 2019, or the 2021 freeze in Texas, and parts of the South that left millions without power, heat, or safe drinking water. Stories like that can feel scary or overwhelming if you've never experienced life-threatening cold. But don't worry, because today's video is going to show you exactly how to prepare, survive, and then recover from a polar vortex. Whether you live in a region that deals with sub-zero temperatures every winter, or an area that almost never gets below freezing, I've got a ton of practical tips to share with you, not just for your house and car, but also for your mindset and your community. Stick around to learn how to insulate your home on the cheap, how to protect your water pipes with something as simple as a pool noodle, how to layer up your clothing effectively, and how to manage those tense moments if your power goes out. I'll walk you through the entire sequence of events. What to do before the vortex arrives, how to cope once the cold hits, and then how to bounce back once the temperatures finally start climbing again. And if you're interested in picking up any items to help you prep, like certain insulation materials, emergency radios, or specialized clothing, be sure to check out the tagged products listed in this video. I've curated some items that I think can really help you on your winter weather readiness journey. Also, please consider subscribing if you find this content useful. Every subscription helps this channel reach more people who could benefit from these tips. So it's a quick way to make sure that more folks are staying safe during extreme weather. Let's jump right in with a quick overview of what's going on when we talk about a polar vortex. In super simple terms, the Earth's polar regions, particularly the North Pole for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, tend to hold the coldest air around. Normally, that frigid air just kind of swirls in place near the pole, staying up there where we don't have to think about it too much. But every once in a while, the atmosphere shifts in a way that pushes a big chunk of that cold air south. When that happens, you can get a burst of extremely low temperatures, sometimes accompanied by ice storms or heavy snow in places that may not be used to it. That's what we mean when we talk about a polar vortex. It's like the cold air from the Arctic is suddenly visiting your neighborhood, and the results can be pretty extreme. These cold surges have happened multiple times in recent history, but two of the most notable events in the last few years really captured people's attention. In 2019, the Midwest and Great Lakes regions were slammed with temperatures so cold that Chicago was jokingly, or maybe not so jokingly, called Chiberia. Wind chills dropped so low that people could get frostbite in minutes if they weren't careful. Public transportation systems struggled to function. Power grids were pushed to their limits as everyone tried to heat their homes. And it got so bad that even everyday tasks, like starting your car in the morning or taking the dog out, became big undertakings. Then in 2021, an event that many people refer to as Snowmageddon hammered states like Texas, Louisiana, and others in the southern United States. Those areas are definitely not used to or well equipped for days of sub-freezing temperatures, ice, and snow. Massive power outages left millions of people in the dark. Pipes weren't insulated for that kind of cold, so there was widespread property damage from flooding once the pipes burst. People who had never bought a pair of snow boots in their lives had to figure out how to navigate icy roads, shovel walkways, and in some cases, deal with indoor temperatures that dropped to the 40s or 30s. It was truly a wake-up call for a lot of folks, showing that big freezes aren't something that only happens in places like Minnesota or Maine. If the polar vortex shifts your way, you can get some shockingly cold weather. So that's why I think it's important for everyone to have at least a baseline plan for winter weather, even if you live in a place that rarely dips below freezing. Being prepared beats being sorry later on. Now, let's dig into some of the ways you can plan ahead, so you're never caught off guard like so many people were during these events. When the polar vortex sets up shop in your area, you can expect a few general categories of impact. You'll get severe cold, potentially record-breaking. You might see snow, ice, or sleet even if that's super rare for your climate. You might experience rolling blackouts if the power grid can't keep up with everyone turning up the heat at once, or if the power generation equipment freezes. There's also a risk of frozen pipes if you don't take preventative measures, which can lead to flooding when they finally thaw. Roads can become too dangerous for travel, public transportation might shut down, and grocery stores can run out of supplies quickly if delivery trucks can't make it. A polar vortex can feel like the world's biggest traffic jam, only with ice and sub-zero temps layered on top. It's stressful, but also very manageable if you go into it with a good plan. When the mercury dips that low, everyday tasks you take for granted, like driving to work, cooking a meal, or even using the bathroom, can become challenging. That's why it's important to think ahead. It's not just about saying, "Oh, I'll wear my heavy coat tomorrow." It's also about thinking, are my pipes insulated? Do I have enough non-perishable food in case the store runs out or I can't leave the house? Do I have a backup way to heat my home if the power goes out? How am I going to communicate with others if my phone battery dies and I can't charge it? Addressing those questions while the weather is still mild is one of the best favors you can do for future you. If you're in a region that sees cold temps every year, some of this might sound routine. Your house is probably built with better insulation, you've got winter tires on your vehicle, maybe you already keep an emergency kit in your trunk because you're used to big snowfalls. But even then, a polar vortex can push temperatures far below your usual lows, and that can still strain the local infrastructure. Even well-prepared areas can struggle when wind chills hit 40 or 50 below. In that kind of cold, it's dangerous to be outside for more than a few minutes. It tests every piece of your winter plan. So no matter your location, let's talk about how to prepare before the mercury really dives. One of the most important steps to take in the days or weeks leading up to a polar vortex is to winterize your home. If you only do one thing, seal up those drafts. A lot of your valuable heat can slip through cracks around windows and doors. You can buy weather stripping or those plastic shrink wrap window insulation kits. If you can't get to the store, even a rolled up towel at the bottom of a door can block a lot of cold air. You can also line curtains with extra material like old blankets or towels to give windows a little more insulation. Yes, it might look a bit rough, but it can help you keep precious heat inside. You'll also want to insulate your pipes. Pipes in unheated areas like garages or crawl spaces are especially vulnerable to freezing. One creative hack is to slice a pool noodle lengthwise and slip it over the pipe. Pool noodles are basically foam tubes, so they act as a simple, cheap form of insulation. Of course, you can buy specialized pipe insulation from a hardware store, but if you have a pool noodle lying around, it's a quick fix. Also, don't forget to protect your outdoor faucets. If you have the option, drain them and put insulated covers over them. Frozen pipes can burst and lead to flooding once they thaw, which is a true nightmare. Another big step is to keep your furnace maintained. It's easy to forget something like changing or cleaning your furnace filter, but if that filter is clogged, your furnace has to work harder, and it might fail when you need it most. That's why it's best to do a furnace tune-up before winter gets brutal. If you wait until you're in the middle of a polar vortex, you might find every HVAC technician in town is swamped. Let's not forget about the roof. A poorly maintained roof can become a serious hazard if heavy snow or ice accumulates on it. You don't want to be climbing up there during a blizzard to clear off piles of ice. Do a quick inspection well before the storm. Check for missing shingles, sagging sections, or any leaks, and deal with that stuff right away. A little bit of prevention can mean the difference between staying cozy in your living room and dealing with a collapsed roof in the middle of a storm. Car preparation is just as important. If you can, always keep your gas tank at least half full in the winter. That helps keep your fuel lines from freezing and ensures you have enough fuel to run the engine and stay warm if you get stuck somewhere. Having an emergency kit in the trunk is also a lifesaver. A warm blanket, a flashlight, some jumper cables, maybe a small shovel, and sand or kitty litter for traction if you get stuck on ice. It's a bit of insurance that can make a huge difference if you find yourself stranded or if you need to help someone else who's stuck. Stock up on essentials. If you wait until the last minute, you'll be fighting panicked crowds at the grocery store and the shelves might already be bare. Aim to have at least a week's worth of food that doesn't rely on refrigeration or power to cook. Canned soups, peanut butter, crackers, dried fruit, nuts, those sorts of things store well. Also keep a decent supply of clean water. If your water utility has issues due to frozen pipes or power outages, you'll be happy you planned ahead. Make sure you have medications restocked and any other critical items for your daily life, whether that's baby formula, pet food, or feminine hygiene products. Once that bone-chilling cold hits, your priorities shift to staying warm and staying safe. Step 1 is to try your best not to panic. If you've prepped, you're already ahead of the game. In extreme cold, especially when you start hearing wind chill values that sound like they came off another planet. It can be tempting to huddle in bed and hope it all goes away. But a better approach is to methodically check your situation. Are your faucets dripping to prevent freezing pipes? Is your heating system working well? Is there a plan if the heat goes out? If your electricity remains on, you can rely on your furnace or space heaters, but keep an eye out for any signs of trouble. If your furnace starts making weird noises, or if you notice a drop in heat output, investigate right away. Clean that filter if you haven't already. If you're using space heaters, don't put them close to curtains or furniture where they could start a fire. Always keep them on a stable surface, away from pets and kids. And if your power goes out, avoid using things like charcoal grills or gas ovens as heat sources inside the house because of the carbon monoxide risk. If you have a wood stove or fireplace that's designed for indoor use, that's fine as long as you keep the flue open and follow safety guidelines. But never burn anything indoors that isn't meant to be used that way. One approach that a lot of people find helpful is to create a warm room. Close off other rooms in the house and focus on insulating one central area, maybe a living room or bedroom. Hang extra blankets over the windows in that room. Tuck towels under the door to block drafts, and gather your family and your pets in that space. Body heat alone can help keep it noticeably warmer in there than in the rest of the house. If your heating does fail, having a smaller space to heat, even if it's just by your own body temperature or some candles, can be a lot more comfortable than trying to keep an entire house above freezing. For personal warmth, layer your clothing. A moisture-wicking base layer, an insulating middle layer like fleece, and a windproof outer layer all work together to keep you cozy. Gloves or mittens are crucial. Mittens retain heat better, but gloves let you use your fingers. A hat is mandatory, since a lot of heat can escape from your head. Some people like wearing nitrile gloves under regular gloves to block moisture and wind. If you do need to go outside, protect your face with a scarf or a balaclava, because frostbite can set in quickly on exposed skin, especially if there's any wind. If you're driving, think carefully about whether the trip is essential. If the roads are super icy, you might be putting yourself and others in danger. But if you must go out, remember that emergency kit you hopefully set up in your trunk. Drive slower than usual, watch for black ice, and let someone know your travel plans, so that if you don't show up, they can alert help. Keep your phone charged too, or bring a portable charger if you have one. While I'm focusing mostly on the physical challenges, there's also a psychological side to riding out a polar vortex. You could be stuck indoors for days, especially if the roads are bad. Cabin fever is real, and it can lead to bickering among family members or just an overall sense of gloom. Try to keep a routine if you can. Wake up at a normal time, even if it's a weekend or you're off work due to weather. Make sure you're eating regularly, staying hydrated, and getting some movement in, even if it's just pacing around the house or doing some stretches. If you have kids, this is a great time to break out board games or craft projects. If you have pets, they might be extra restless if they can't do their usual walks. Speaking of community, it's worth checking in on neighbors or friends, especially the elderly or anyone with a disability. A quick text or phone call can reassure them that someone's looking out for them, and that can be huge in a stressful event. If you know they might not have heat or can't manage to shovel their driveway, consider offering help if you can do so safely. There's a lot of power in people coming together to care for each other during extremes of weather. At some point, that brutal cold spell is going to ease up. Then you'll move into the recovery phase. Don't just breathe a sigh of relief and forget about everything. There could be hidden damage you need to find and fix. This is the time to do a thorough inspection of your home. Check every faucet to ensure water is flowing normally. If any pipes froze, you might see slow drips or notice damp spots on your walls or ceilings if they burst and caused a leak. Catching that early can save you from mold growth or more expensive repairs later on. If you did have frozen pipes, thaw them gently. You can wrap them in warm towels or use a hairdryer on a low setting. Do not blast them with a propane torch or super high heat because that can cause sudden expansion. If you see an actual leak or hear dripping behind the walls, shut off your water supply and call a professional if you're not comfortable fixing it yourself. Plumbers will be in high demand after a cold snap, so be prepared for possible wait times. Your roof could also be compromised by ice dams or heavy snow loads. If you see chunks of ice around the edges of your roof or large icicles, be cautious. Sometimes that trapped ice can force water under the shingles, leading to leaks. Look in your attic if you can to spot any moisture. When it warms up, you might need to remove built-up ice to prevent damage, but be extremely careful if you go up on the roof. It's best to hire professionals if it's dangerous. Check on your car too. If the roads were heavily salted, wash the undercarriage as soon as you can to prevent rust. Listen for any unusual sounds that might indicate a problem caused by the cold, like worn belts or battery issues. If your battery was on its last legs, you might want to replace it now rather than wait for the next cold spell. Once your house and car are set, start replenishing any supplies you used. If you went through a lot of canned goods, restock them. If your medication stash got low, pick up fresh prescriptions so you won't be scrambling next time. This is also a great moment to reflect on how your plan worked. Did your pipe insulation hold up? Did your warm room idea work out? Or do you need a better setup next time? Did your generator or backup heater function properly? Or did you realize you need more fuel? Taking notes while the experience is fresh in your mind will make you that much more prepared when the next cold wave comes around. Now you've got a simple roadmap for dealing with a polar vortex. What it is, why it matters, how to prepare your home and car, what to do if the power goes out, how to handle the psychological toll of being stuck indoors, and how to check for damage once the thaw begins. These are tried and true methods that people have used successfully in places like Chicago, during Chiberia, and down in the South during Snowmageddon. The overarching message here is that preparation and knowledge are your best defenses against extreme cold. Remember, no matter where you live, crazy weather can show up when you least expect it. Maybe it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, or maybe it's not. Either way, having some basic cold weather gear, stocking up on essentials, and making sure your house is insulated can save you a lot of grief. And even if you never face a polar vortex, many of these tips also help in a typical winter storm or even just a bad cold snap. It's all about maintaining your own safety and comfort, as well as looking out for those around you. If you found this video helpful, please take a second to subscribe and let me know in the comments. It's a quick click for you, but it means a lot for the channel. And be sure to check out the tagged products listed in this video. Whether you need an emergency radio, some serious pipe insulation, or heavy-duty gloves, I've compiled a list of great items that can really make a difference when the temperature plunges. By being proactive now, you'll be ready when the next cold front or polar vortex tries to turn your life upside down. Thanks so much for watching, and here's hoping you stay warm, prepared, and safe this winter and beyond.